What is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 201. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, which I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
I am back from Keystone Comic-Con. Thanks to everybody for showing up and getting some wares. Hope to see you at New York Comic-Con, which is 2 weeks away, right?
No, not even close.
2 weeks!
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
Brian Manjoma.
What's up, people?
And Adam Vale.
Sucker Free Sunday, people.
All right, Brett will join us a little bit. He's running late. Maybe he's saving the queen. I don't know.
It's his turn now.
Yeah, it is his turn.
Queen.
Yeah, right? But he being queen. Actually, man, you're not too far off from Comic-Con. Isn't that shit in like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, we're not. New York Comic-Con
Like, to me, I'm like, man, that shit is like a million years from now.
No, man, we are close. It is close.
Oh, shit. You are... I take that back, people. Man, I mean, actually, we're both right and wrong. Because you said 2 weeks. That's wrong. 2.5 weeks. Which makes you wrong.
Weeks.
But I'm also wrong, too. Because I said 3 weeks. 2.5 weeks.
It's right up. It's right up upon us, man. It's getting close. So
yeah,
that means the preparations need to begin.
Well, for you, I don't need to prepare shit.
Yo, man, you gotta prepare for them games, man.
What games? They don't show. Comic-Con is
for them games.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, Comic-Con for me is the opposite of E3. I just chill most of the time. I'm like, the reason you don't see me these days. Back in the day, you didn't see me because I was always running around. Now you don't see me because I'm in the press room most of the time. Like, I don't need to go downstairs.
In the press room?
Yeah, because ain't nothing to do for me. You know. So I like it. Yeah, I don't get to do shit. It's awesome.
So I'm like, man, Tony's. I'm saying to people, saying of fans that come by the table, they're like, yeah, you know, Tony's around. You know, he's busy. Meanwhile, this motherfucker's hanging around in the press room.
You know, exclusive, man. Exclusive access to nothing. Exclusive access to expensive sandwiches. They still make us pay for this shit.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna tell you one thing about the Keystone Comic-Con or Philadelphia conventions, man. They're right next to Reading Terminal, and if you don't know what that is, Reading Terminal is the former a train terminal of Philly. But what they did is obviously there's no big trains that go through there anymore, like big chartered trains like that go to that section. So what they did was they turned the whole terminal into a giant food market. So the convention center is literally in the old the train station and the food market are in the former section of these giant train stations that they used to have from like the 20s or something like that, when trains were like the shit. So they had these big places like that, like these big halls and stuff to wait for the train. So they turned one into a convention center that's literally above, like a bridge area, and then they have the other part of it, which is a food place, and you can literally go in there and get anything you want.
Yeah. By the way, before we start, because this is funny, if you guys were watching Thursday's show, Manny wasn't here for like the first 10 minutes, right? We thought it was something serious. It was actually pretty fucking hilarious. Oh, please tell the people the story.
Okay, so yeah. If you know, I was missing from the beginning of the show because I had just ordered pizza that night for food. And I get, but right before the show begins, I get a call from the pizza guy. He just gave me the pizza, and he's like, "Can you come out and help me? I backed out to the driveway. I'm stuck." So I walk out, and I literally see this guy hanging off. His car is like hanging off of one of the curbs. Over here, some of the curbs are pretty. Like some areas have really, really high curbs. This idiot didn't realize it because we have in our driveway, we have like a little a reflective thing that tells you where the driveway is because it's a little dark. So this guy just drove around that thing and drove off the curb, and his car was literally wedged between the curb and the ground. So he couldn't drive the car back up. So what we did was we took a spare tire and stuck it under one of the wheels so that one of the wheels could actually roll up the thing, but the other couldn't. So we put a spare tire under one of the wheels, and then pushed the car so that it would be able to drive back into the driveway, and he could get out. That's what I was doing. I was literally pushing the pizza guy's car
Yeah, I'm like, yo, he should have given you that shit for free after that. You know?
Yo, man, and the shitty part of it is they got my soda wrong, man.
What's up with that, man? Didn't give you Dr. Pepper?
I wanted a Mexican Coke, and this guy gave me a regular Coke.
Or gave you a Canadian Coke, man?
Gave me the regular Coke. Man, I want that Mexican Coke.
Yeah, right, the good stuff.
Got the good stuff.
That's hilarious,
Real
man.
sugar.
Yeah. All right. If you we got a decent amount of questions. Actually, most of them are like leftover questions from the other episode. So please feel free to ask us any video game related questions, man. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. And we're gonna start off with some of these leftover questions. So first one is Mr. Figs. So he's asking, first up, is anyone going to buy Soulcalibur VI? I hope the game sells well because the lead developer said low sales could mean Bandai will not make a 7th game. So who's buying this thing?
Not me. Next.
Not me.
I don't know if I'd buy it right away. You know?
You know, I'll agree with me. Like, if Bandai sticks microtransactions in there, to have been with the last few games, I think that's a hard pass. Like, if I was even remotely curious and I found out you had to pay for a ton of fighters or costumes and all that bullshit, I wouldn't be bothered.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm probably gonna get the game. I'm probably gonna get the game for a review, so I don't have to buy it. But if I had the chance, yeah, I probably would because I seem to buy every like other Soulcalibur game, and this one's supposed to be like kind of going back to the original one. But Chris, what do you mean by microtransactions? Did they announce that or something?
No, Bandai did this weird experiment with the last Soulcalibur game where you had to like purchase every fighter and purchase all this bullshit. There's the same thing they did with Ace Combat, the previous one. Like you had to buy fuel and all this shit.
What?
It was this microtransaction hell.
Wow.
So I was just like, fuck this. I'm not buying this.
Okay, if that's the case, then I would wait. Then
Yeah, I would just wait, you know. And I'm I'm more of a Street Fighter guy, and I like games that play like that. So I'm not really a Soulcalibur guy. The last one I played was 2 on Dreamcast.
yeah.
I think that's the last one I cared.
Well,
about.
2 was on PlayStation.
Oh wait, what was on Dreamcast?
The first one, the first Soulcalibur.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
They not a Soulcalibur guy. With the exception of Virtua Fighter and Soulcalibur are the only 3D fighting games I like. And Soulcalibur is different because it has weapons and stuff. It's basically 3D Samurai Showdown. That's why I like it. But yeah, if microtransactions, if that's the case, people, buyer beware, man.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, here's the thing: we don't know exactly that much about.
Yeah, we don't.
What's going to be happening with this one?
Yeah, because I played the shit at E3. It was dope, but they didn't tell me anything about the microtransactions, and I didn't really ask.
But when do they?
They don't. They don't want people to know about that shit. You know?
Yeah. As soon as you say some sort of microtransaction and stuff, the whole fucking internet just loses their mind about it.
Yeah.
So
I would have asked about that. So I'm like, hold on, microtransactions?
yeah,
Yeah, you're right about that. That's what we always talk about. They want to control the narrative,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They want to control the narrative. They want to make sure that that you're doing that. But it's again, these are important parts of the games that people should know about. If Brett were here, he'd probably be like, and if Brian probably is going.
Well, Brian doesn't care about Soulcalibur, probably.
No, it's Tekken. Now, if it was Tekken, right, yes, that would be the blasphemy, right, Brian?
Yeah, totally.
All right, man, let's move on here. Next up, okay, Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be a great experience in October since Rockstar is a quality developer. If you could have Rockstar work on I hear Brett. As soon as I heard that click, I'm like, that's fucking Brett. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, all right, I'm just going to skip to it. He wants to know what Rockstar IP should, what IP should Rockstar bring back. I'm going to just throw it out there. Manhunt, bring that shit back. Bring back Manhunt. Manhunt 3, The Revenge. So that's mine. And Adam, I'm going to answer for you. Table tennis.
Yep. Next.
And I'm going to say I'd like to see them do another LA Noire.
Man, he wants Red Dead Revolver too, man.
I would love to get a non-open worldy type of Rockstar game for once. So yeah, I would also alternatively like to have an actual Red Dead Revolver 2.
But they fixed that. That's redemption. That's their fix.
No. That is not Red Dead Revolver.
Oh.
I want
Play
that.
Gun was better.
Gun was a piece of shit. Come on, fuck that game.
No, Gun was awesome.
Gun was
Fuck that
pretty
game.
good, man.
Oh,
Fuck that
Gun was a Red Dead killer.
Yeah, it was a Red Dead killer.
That was an awesome game.
Yeah, Red Dead's still around. Where's Gun?
Well, they didn't say it last. They just killed that one and then it lost. Not all champions can keep the title. You know what I mean? They all lose. Muhammad Ali lost, you know?
Gun was a mediocre sort of game. And as soon as something better came along, everyone forgot about that shit. I'm not going to say that Red Dead was any better as far as being forgotten. The only reason why we even know about that shit now is because they decided to turn it into Grand Theft Auto Cowboys.
Hey, Carlos, man. Kristen stole your answer. She says agent.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh,
that was going to be my answer.
Hey,
agent can't be brought back. It wasn't
never
even
came out.
patched yet.
They had a logo.
They had a logo. They had a logo.
Obviously, when you have a logo, that means that the game has already been released.
Yeah, Nintendo, right? You know, they get away with that shit.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Death Stranding's got a logo and some trailers.
Yo, by the way, you guys in the chat, please ask us. I'm surprised none of you asked us about Nintendo's foolery right now, man. Please ask us about that. I don't want to sound off.
Yeah, you know, there's something called something that Microsoft did, and they're kind of doing.
Yeah, we'll save that. We'll save that. Anyway, Chris, Rockstar IPs, bring back, go.
I'd like to see a sequel to Bully.
Ooh, I think you stole Brett's answer.
That's a good one, yeah.
You know what?
You did that on purpose.
How? I didn't know that you cared.
I don't know. Black magic, witchcraft. You tell me.
Brett talks about Bully. Brett talks about Bully as much as he talks about Dark Souls, man.
You know, there is something called osmosis.
Osmosis. I absorbed it.
Yeah.
I'm like absorbing, man.
It happens with women when they think they're periods. So.
Yeah, well, I use.
Synced up.
Yeah. He's just synced up.
You synced up.
You'll get but you're not women though. You get like diarrhea at the same time.
No. If gamers are on a podcast long enough, their reboot won't sync up.
Yeah, I just knew it because I observe.
Don't
get out of here all day. I'll slap the shit out of you, man, for that answer, man. This man said state of emergency. Get that trash out of my house, man. State of emergency.
The first one wasn't good, man.
State of emergency was booty, man.
State of emergency.
You want to know what the best state of emergency game was? The Evil Dead game that used the state of emergency engine.
Yeah. I mean, the only other IP they have that we haven't mentioned is Midnight Club.
Oh, bring that back.
Stuff. Nope.
Yeah, man, bring that shit back. That was awesome. Midnight Club 3.
Who was it that was playing that game? I know it was somebody who was playing that game. And all they did was they played it at night, and they asked the question like, "Why is this game ever in day?" And it's because the Midnight Club only used the clock inside of your console.
Oh, really?
It was always at night when I.
It was always night. Yeah, when I played, it was always at night.
I thought it had a day mode.
That's fake news.
Yeah, no.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, because I remember, I played that and Need for Speed Underground 2 back to back. I'm like, both of these games are at night. What the fuck? You know?
Maybe it was Need for Speed that had the time of day thing. That it was actually the time of day that was in your environment.
Not Underground 2.
No, I don't know which one that was.
Yeah, Carlos. Oh, your answer already got stolen.
Yeah, you guys already named like pretty much every Rockstar IP that I would want to bring back.
Yeah, what about you?
Bring back the original Grand Theft Auto. Top angle where you could run around and fart.
I'm surprised they didn't add that in the game.
Hey, Adam, here you go. Barry Burns says Warriors 2 come out to play.
I just said that. I literally just got done saying that.
Nice.
We never got the reboot or the movie. Remember the new one that was supposed to come out with the director of Sopranos and the whole thing? And
yeah,
hey, check this out. So All Day says Midnight Club for 360 has the daytime. I played on PS2. That shit was night the whole time.
Yeah, it is. It was. See, that's what I mean. I think it probably was you, Adam, who was playing it.
I played a lot of shit, remember?
But I think you was at the time. You were like, "Man, is this game? It's happened in daytime?" And it's like, "No, well, you've been playing at midnight and
maybe
playing in the dark."
Yeah, that shit was dark all the time.
But
maybe I played at night too.
There were better games, like the Burnout series was still strong.
Oh yeah,
so if I'm gonna play any racing or those type of, I'm gonna play Burnout.
And I played that. Now, that was an excuse, though, because I played all the Burnouts, Need for Speeds, and fucking Midnight back in the day, But then again, I'm going to say I had a very good friend called Navarro hooking me up.
Oh, remember Navarro stealing GI Joes? I'll never forget that shit.
Hey, it was a simple thing.
Man.
I
hate
gave
him till this day because of that shit.
Oh man, I gave him clean urine. He gave me video games. Man, it's crazy. What are you talking about, Tony? Drug test, man.
Yo, man, you telling the world that you're an enabler, son?
I'm not an enabler. Hey, listen, it's not illegal to give your piss for video games. It's true. Look at him.
How's he doing? Have you talked to him?
No, I haven't talked
a couple
to him
years
in a
ago.
long time.
He's doing all right, man. He's selling TVs. He was yo Tony, yo, I can hook you up, son. I got you the LTV. It's crazy. All right, Brian, what about you? Rockstar IPs, bring them back.
I have the one that no one has mentioned yet. Manhunt.
I did say that was the first one.
Tony mentioned it.
I was the first one to say it.
I thought you said Manhunt too.
See, Brian was too busy playing. That was literally the first thing that I said.
Check on Steam. I ain't playing shit.
They get out of here, motherfucker.
They can just remake
that. He's the one with the PlayStation 4 on. Now we know.
Oh, now we know.
No,
yeah.
my PS4 is off.
That's the thing.
Yo, Brian, what does your PS4 sound like when you turn it on, though?
Welcome.
A damn vacuum.
Hey, Brian, if you had an Xbox One X, it would be whisper quiet. Because you ain't got no games to play on it.
He wouldn't even know it's on.
No, I still say that they should make Manhunt back because I think that it was a game that pissed off a lot of people and was quite experimental.
Yeah,
and
they just
make games like that these days.
That was a good one.
Yeah, Manhunt, bring that shit back, boy.
I mean, think about it. That whole mechanics, they never did anything with that. Those crazy kills, man. People look that up on YouTube. You just see people just made the kills, just videos on the kills. They said, oh, it's so crazy. Putting a bag over someone's head, smashing their head in the back with a brick. It was violent.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. It was crazy. Anyway, Brett, you got any others besides Bully?
I've been waiting for the new Red Dead for a while, so I'm just pretty happy. Besides, like we said, we've kind of named almost all of their franchises.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, with that said...
I think the thing to walk away from here is that Rockstar doesn't make bad games, for the most part, and pretty much anything they've ever done could be rebooted and successful.
Yeah, all right, all day Sam. See, Midnight Club Los Angeles, I didn't play that. I played Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition.
I mean, wait a minute. I just assumed that somebody said Max Payne. Did nobody actually say Max Payne?
Well, they don't own it anymore. Well, no, they do.
They do own it.
Remedy that doesn't do it.
Yeah, Brett, there you go. Max Payne.
Yeah, Max Payne 4, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that's a dead franchise because they released one just a few years ago, 2014. Remember? They did that one where he was running around in Rio de Janeiro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Max Payne 3. Yeah, so they can make, but yeah, it's still a IP that's still going. But whatever, I'll take that as an
obvious one. I'm surprised Adam didn't say it. What happened to table tennis?
I said that for him. I said that for him.
Oh, yep.
Now we know whose PS4 that was.
Yeah, right now we know who got PS4.
But yeah,
so it's quiet, man.
Yeah, get out of here, motherfucker. Yeah, so all day I didn't play that one. I played Dub Edition, man. All right,
went through Dub.
Okay, what the fuck are we? Okay, spontaneous tone. So this is a pretty long question. So let me take a sip of my water here. When his lips is so good. All right, with the Spider-Man DLC chapters releasing in October, November, and December, some have argued that it makes more sense to release the DLC soon after release because the player base will be higher, more active, and will prompt a higher number of DLC purchases. However, the other side has said after buying a $60 title, buying DLC so soon feels counterintuitive, and the money would be better spent on newer games. They also say it is better to let games take their time so it feels new and fresh later when DLC is released and would cause it to sell better. They cite success stories like World of Warcraft and Rainbow Six Siege because they took their time. My question is, what would have sold better or will sell better, excluding people who bought the game digital day one? Spider-Man DLC releasing in October through December or Spider-Man DLC selling in April through June? Interesting question. So what is the best time to release DLC? Let's just take it as a whole thing, like not just Spider-Man. What is the best time to release DLC for a game? Close to launch or way after launch? Like what is the sweet spot? I still don't feel people have gotten this down yet.
It's up to the market. That's where I see it. Because if there's nothing out, then it's the sweet spot. If there's tons of shit out, then it's like, yo, why'd you do this now? You know all this other stuff is coming out. I got no time to play this.
Yeah, I think it depends on a whole bunch of factors. Like, I mean, freaking GTA 5 is how many years old, and they're still making DLC for it. But then you have like a single player experience like Spider-Man. Do you wait till everybody's dropped off and then release DLC, or do you take a chance and release it soon after the game's out while people are engaged? I would think with a single player experience, you release it closer to the launch date. Whereas when you have a bigger game that has a multiplayer experience like Rainbow Six Siege, you could trickle that stuff out over a year.
Yeah, that's pretty much my answer. Like story DL, or single player, you kind of want to release it close to it. But multiplayer stuff, you can't really equate it. Yeah, you can't bring it out later.
You don't want to let multiplayer sit too long. Is the problem, because if you let a mass chunk of your audience exit the multiplayer arena, when they come back for the DLC, they're not necessarily all going to come back at once. And multiplayer games are heavily reliant on other players and the player base. So the problem I see is when you try and let a multiplayer game sit too long and then bring people back into it, they kind of come in fits and spits and spurts. And it really isn't that engaging. It really doesn't help. Like, you almost have to wait just long enough for the hardcore to finish all of their end game content. And then right when the average player has finished their end game content seems to be when you want to release your DLCs for multiplayer games.
Was it the Spider-Man drops the same time as Red Dead, right? Isn't that window that month or that week?
Well, I mean, do you consider the entire month that window?
No, like within the week of the first of the week before or after it. That's what I consider.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea when it comes out.
Because I remember reading something about it. Like, you're releasing in that same window, the same day, I think it was.
I don't know. Also, you have to take into account that these companies partition funds to advertise the DLC. So it's like, do you want to waste that much time, like that much advertising, like so close to like the advertisement that was spent, like on the initial release of the game? So, yeah, I think having a good window where there's nothing coming out and it's relatively soon, like you guys mentioned for single player games, I think that's a perfect spot. Like maybe 2-3 months out off a game release, and make sure that there's nothing coming out that time, where all the advertisement going into the DLC is like all those advertisements are just going to that game and people are only focused in that game. I think that's the best time to do it. But like if they release a DLC for, I don't know, for late October, then it's just going to go to the wayside because Red Dead Redemption is going to be out that time and no one's going to care.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But the thing is, like, you also don't want to release it too late. Like, to me, April or whatever, I'm like, dude, I'm done, man. I'm not going back. Like, when I played the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, great game, great DLC, but I was like, should have released this a little bit closer. You know what I'm saying? And then for me, and I'm just speaking for me right now, it's hard to go back to those controls for some of these games. Like, what the fuck does this shit do? You know, you have to relearn everything.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm like that with a bunch of games.
Yeah, it happens a lot, actually. I think with Spider-Man, it may not be too bad, because the controls are kind of similar to others. But with Horizon, I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. You know, and it happens a lot with DLC, so it's kind of good when they release a little bit closer. But you also don't want them too close either. You know what I'm saying? This is why people still haven't really figured it out yet. You know, but I do generally agree, like with single player, you do want to release it closer. With multiplayer, you release it whenever. You know.
Here's a weird
question.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll
let you go
go first, Manny.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, you know, what about like folks like myself who don't actually have enough time? And to be honest, probably once that DLC comes out, I'm probably gonna be close to finishing the game. You know, so. For me, the DLC is actually kind of just a pretty good time, because it's like I just roll right over into the DLC rather than just kind of waiting a few months for it, you know?
And that's actually kind of what I was going to ask about. Does anybody else find themselves wanting to play DLC but being a little bit torn because it's just about 20% of the content of the main game? Like, sometimes I find myself be like, man, I'd love to play this DLC, but I know I'm going to burn through it in like 4 hours. So like, a session or two or a sit down or two, something like that. There's just not that much content there. And in those instances, I find it really great. Like if it's supplemental to the original game, it just kind of adds meat, but it's like a snack. It's not enough to stand on its own a lot of times. Am I the only one who feels that way?
I don't know if you're the only one, but for me, that's actually one of the things I do like about DLC. It's a snack size thing that you don't have to put a lot of time into. So that's actually what I do like about DLC. But does anybody agree with Brett on this one?
I don't know if it's the length that bugs me, but I don't, like I like the last game that I mean I haven't played like a lot of DLC for things. The thing that comes to my memory, which was kind of annoying, was the Batman Arkham City DLCs. Oh, was it Arkham Knight? Yeah, Arkham Knight games one where all those weird piecemeal DLCs came out that were semi-connected and not connected sort of things. I found myself not wanting to play any of those, which is weird.
But yeah, no, like I said, I don't mind that. If I could, like, hey, DLC, I'll crank this out tonight.
Like,
that's perfectly fine. I'll be honest, I don't even know what DLCs came out for that game.
Like
Arkham
it was
Knight?
the one. It was like Arkham Knight had that one where it was like
Had a lot. Remember, I had that
it was
crazy
the
season
one-
pass.
it was that weird.
Oh
season
yeah,
pass
I played
shit.
the Batgirl one.
Yeah, there was the Batgirl one. There was a Robin one. There was also like a Red Hood one.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I
Yeah, but
I
they
did
were
play
pretty
Red Hood.
short.
Yeah, I
And
did
then-
play Red Hood. That's
and
right.
then all the shit with the car
I didn't do that one.
where you get all the different cars.
Yeah, because again, it was to the point. I'm like, listen, this game's already too far gone. It's like I'm not trying to play this anymore. I moved on. You know what I'm saying? The Batgirl one came out pretty close to it, so I was fine with it. I think the Red Hood one came out pretty close to it too. But that car one, that came out way later. I'm like, I'm done, man. I'm not playing this anymore. You
That was
know?
the one where you get like Michael Keaton's Batmobile and shit.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I was already too far gone. You know. Anyway, does anybody else have a problem with the length of DLCs?
Yeah, I just feel like it's like a really weird thing to hit because it just depends on so many different factors, as all you guys have said. Because like with Spider-Man, like I'm seeing a lot of guys just not just finishing the game, but platinum in the game within like the first like 7 days of release, and it's like wow, they just seem to just go through and just crunch through it like mad. Now, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to be like replaying it, or are they going to be like jumping into like a different game? And that leads me to think that okay, in that case, if it's like a single player only experience, then you should do it within the first three months. But then you look at the first 3 months of Spider-Man, and you pretty much get like all the heavy hitters are coming out, and you can't really expect to not do it in that time frame because who knows what people might be playing. So I do feel like for single player games, that's like solely just based on like the campaign, then you need to do it within the first 3 months at least. At least by then, the majority of people would be still playing it, and they should still have a reason to jump back. But anything after the first 3 months is pretty much just a dangerous territory. Whereas with multiplayer games, it all depends on how well the multiplayer stands up. Because as you've seen with stuff like Rainbow Six Siege, like it can stand up for quite some time. Hence, it's fine just like put it like in a delayed time frame. Or you could do what Ubisoft did with the Division and release something every like month. At least that way you have guys come back on like a regular basis. I think with Warframe they technically do it like every 2 weeks. They have like new weapons and stuff like that. So at least that gets people like coming back every now and then. But I don't think there is really a right time. It's just dependence on so many different factors. And then also you get guys like me who aren't going to touch the game until like the year's out. Because one, if they don't like start releasing DLC at a time frame, then I'm just going to wait until it all comes out and then get everything in one big lunchbox, if you wish, and then just snack on that.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else want to say anything on this topic?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Let's get on to the question I really want to get into, man. This is going to be fun. All right. Hashling and Slasher. So he goes, Spider-Man is selling like hotcakes and it looks amazing. I would love to get it on my PS4, but I can't help but think how much more enjoyable it would be to play the game at 60, 90, or even 120 frames a second. My question is, do any of you also think of this or want a port of, for the PC to get these options?
No, it's too controller based. I don't think it would work as well with a mouse and keyboard.
What about if you play
yes,
with it? What about it?
I know you can use a game controller on a PC. It just rarely ever works as well.
Hey, Brett, did you know that you can use a game controller on the PC?
No, can you?
Yeah,
the Xbox.
but I really want you guys to answer this. Like, did that actually cross your mind even once while you were playing this game?
No.
It didn't cross my mind, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, but I never thought of it. I never was like, you know what? I want to play this at 120 frames per second on my and I never thought of that. I never was like, I'm perfectly happy playing it the way it is now.
Yeah.
Actually, I did think I didn't technically think about that exact scenario, but I thought about like the limitations of the PlayStation, because I was playing Spider-Man 4 on my PS4 Pro, and man, my PS4 Pro sounded like it was about to launch out of orbit, man. So
if you had an Xbox One X,
you know
though,
what's
man.
funny? You know what's funny? Your PC could sound like that too. Mine still gets like that depending on what I'm playing. If I put on ultra settings.
It's funny. My normal PlayStation doesn't sound like that.
Oh, mine gets angry when I play Spider-Man.
Nah, mine's fine.
Fuck you put in me, man.
Mine is like, hey, I'm cool. I'm just gonna make your room 80 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh no, mine sound like a disapproving Marge Simpson.
Yeah, right.
Maybe because I don't play as much games now, it's still got that thermal paste inside of it. But
dude, I remember my shit started to sound like that like 6 months afterwards. Like,
nah, man.
Like, damn, son.
Yeah, it always made me wonder, like when they do these refreshes, I'm like, oh yeah, get this new one. Is it just with their own little whistle, like, yeah, our shits aren't made to last that long, so just go pick one of these up. Come on.
Yeah,
I mean, they
go ahead.
do last a while, but they
last. It's just noisy,
like vacuum cleaners. Yeah.
Okay. Here, this will give you insight into my line of thinking, right? I review a lot of games, right? I'm always given the option. Do you want to play this on PC? Do you want to play this on PS4, Xbox? I never pick PC or Xbox. I always play PlayStation 4 no matter what. I could have easily played Dragon Quest 11 on PC. I could have played Tomb Raider on PC. Could have played a bunch of these games. I always prefer consoles. It's just a lot easier for me. Look, my console's a fucking beast. It destroys my PS4. Nope, I don't care. Don't care about that.
Yo, man, your console?
Yeah, my PC. Yeah, my PC. And as a matter of fact, I'm speaking for even for you, Manny. All of us have PCs that are better than consoles. And with the exception of Brian, we all choose to play on consoles over PC. It's just convenient. So no, never even crossed my mind until you asked this question. And to answer it, no, I'm perfectly fine. My thing is 30 frames a second is a good frame rate. 60 and 90 obviously better frame rates, but to me I kind of see them as like nice extras, right? If you don't get them, whatever, but if you do get them, that's great. Like I will admit, like jumping from Spider-Man to Tomb Raider on PS4, which is pretty close to 60, I'm like, damn, this shit looks good. But at the end of the day, nah, it doesn't really hamper my enjoyment. It's like and again, it's like that's what makes the system special, these exclusives. So again, if I was the type of person that wanted that type of shit, I'd be getting all my games on PC. I thought I was about to go down that road, right? Like there was in 2016, I spent the whole summer just playing PC games. I'm like, this is the fucking shit. Look at these graphics. Look at these frame rates. Then I went back to PlayStation 4. I'm like, this is a lot better. It was just so much easier. I didn't have to do all this fucking bullshit, So yeah, there you go.
Man, your controller's not working. You got to reinstall those drivers.
Yeah. PC gaming is a lot easier than people make it out to be. You don't need to be update your computer updates the shit for you. You don't need to worry about any of that.
Speaking of that though, like we talk about how like the Xbox controllers work on your PCs. They automatically senses it. My fucking drivers on mine always crash on my whenever I stick an Xbox controller in there.
Yeah,
well, really? Well, the drivers on mine never crash.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm running Windows 10. No, it's already built. You didn't have to put any drivers.
No, I'm running in Windows 10 too. Yeah, it crashes. The drivers never work.
Something else has happened because it shouldn't have that issue because I didn't have to load any drivers. It just detects it.
You know what? It's not the controller doesn't work. It's all the other Xbox shit that doesn't work. Like like it's supposed to, once you stick it in and you press the home button and stuff like that, it pops up the menus and shit. It doesn't do that one.
That's weird.
It's weird.
It is.
Yeah. So no. Brian, I'm guessing you're the only one that would prefer this game on PC.
I would prefer it on something that runs it well. To be honest, like if the PS4 like had like a high frame rate mode, then I would actually consider that. But the fact that it just does not, it just makes me just wonder like why the PS4 Pro even exists in the first place. It's like, why am I going to pay this much more just to have the game run at the same frame rate, slightly better on a 4K TV? It's like, nah.
That's
And
what
plus,
I was saying in the beginning of this shit, man. It's just
again,
it's all
I thought
it
that's
is a half step. It wasn't really that much of an advance over the last one on both those things.
again like according to Sony and the marketing, it was like, hey, this was meant to like attract people away from getting into PCs, and it's like, okay, cool. So maybe it'd have like high resolutions, high frame rate modes, it, like look and play great. It's like, no, it just looks the same mostly. Unless you have 4K TV and you're pretty much screwed either way. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the inconsistency that kind of bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Like some games, like Tomb Raider, run at a noticeably higher frame rate. Then you got games like Spider-Man, which don't. It's like it would be nice if there's a little bit more consistency with it, But ultimately, yeah, it's like we probably didn't need these damn consoles. These upgraded ones. We really didn't. And I'm speaking as a guy who owns a PS4 Pro. If I had a regular PS4, I would have been just fine.
Well, that's the whole thing, but they learned it from the cell phones. Do you need the S version?
Totally.
Nah, not really, but people do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that model. It's like have a regular console life cycle, then you start the next one, man. But maybe I'm old. I don't know. All right, I think we've said enough of this. I knew where the answers were going to go, but I just wanted him to, because Hashlingen, he's a PC guy. He wants to shit on PC, but
yeah, it would be nice. Like it's kind of like a dick move that Sony's like, hey, like if you want to play this game, you play it on console. It's like, okay, that's good.
Is it a dick
move? It's not a dick move at all. It's called exclusive.
Yeah, I consider it exclusive just to be dick moves in general.
All right.
It's like, hey, we can't make our machine actually worth it, so we'll put the software. We can buy the machine.
Hashling is going to love hearing that.
You know what, Brian? I have something to say on that. That strikes me as saying, I baked a dozen cookies, and then your neighbor coming over and being like, well, I should get a cookie. You're like, but I baked these for me. And they're like, well, it's only fair that I get them too. And you know what, Brian? To me, that sounds like communism.
Yeah, thank you.
Calm down.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds entitled, too. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, that is not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
About him.
No, it isn't what I'm saying. I'm not even saying anything like that. All I'm saying is that Sony have made a machine. Instead of actually making a good machine, they lock stuff on this that you have to buy the machine.
But they made it.
They made it.
You make the cookies for you and your friends. You don't owe them to every asshole on the street. You made it for these people. They made Spider-Man.
You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying is that they didn't make the machine good to sell. Instead, they made the stuff that runs on the machine sell the machine itself.
You don't understand how exclusives work, Brian.
Yeah, it sounds like you don't.
I do understand how exclusives work, and that's kind of like, I just feel like Sony have just not put out a good machine. Like, if they put out a good machine
focus on the.
But you look at it this way. Like, look at the time when the PS4 and the Xbox were made, right? If they were going to put something out that was the total advanced thing at the time, do you realize you obviously, a guy who was in development, know how expensive these things would be? So it's like, okay, at the time, yes, they were the most powerful consoles at the time, and they were parity with some of the stuff that was current at that point in time. But years go on.
Yeah, we're not going to go down this exclusivity rabbit hole right now. I'm stopping this. Right, this is just stupid.
But I'm not talking about just like power on its own. I mean, just like in terms of what the machine does.
So Brian, let's just say the PS4 met your specifications and still had exclusives. Would that be better then?
Wait, are you one of the people who were knocking Microsoft for the stuff that shit was doing?
They're both at fault for it. Like, both machines are pretty much the same at this point in time. Like, there's nothing differentiating the two are the exclusives. So it's like neither one of these two put out a machine that's actually special.
But that's
they just put out games on the machines. Like, oh, that's kind of.
But if they were special, that means they wouldn't have exclusives then? I'm asking a hypothetical right now. If they were quote unquote special,
they still would have exclusives, but it's just that they would have something else apart from an exclusive to set them apart. like right now, what sets apart Xbox and Microsoft in terms of the consoles?
The same thing that's differentiated every console in history: exclusives.
Exclusives.
Yeah.
Well, what about adding in features that make the console worth it rather
There's a
than
bunch of them.
exclusives?
There's a bunch of different when it comes to features.
Really, it seems like most of them have like the exact
No.
same.
You can't do the remote play. You can't do the share play on an Xbox. That's one of the best features. I use that shit all the
Trophies.
They have like
Trophies.
They have like the Surface thing, like where you can like link up your Surface tablet and whatnot.
No, it's not the same thing. If you're playing, let's say if I'm playing a game and you're like, yo, I don't have that game, I can just give you control of it and you can play the game.
You can play.
You don't even need it.
You can
Okay,
play
I got one. Hey,
on
Brian,
Xbox.
what about Switch?
What do you mean?
Is
I
it
think
being
you guys are focusing on
is
the
it being
wrong
a
thing.
dick? Is Nintendo being a dick because they're not releasing those games on other
no,
systems?
okay.
And let me finish. And Switch is doing something quote unquote special.
Man, you're focusing on, I think, on the wrong thing, Brian saying. Brian, am I correct in understanding that basically what you're saying is it's just a damn shame that the only bar where you can buy your favorite beer is serving it out of dirty glasses? Is that kind of the thing? Like you just don't like the fact that the PlayStation isn't as strong as a PC, and you wish that you could get Spider-Man on something that was more powerful, even if it were still an exclusive? Is that correct?
No.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
Then we don't know what you're talking about.
We're going down a rabbit hole right now,
You
man.
said like I just find it just like depressing that the Xbox and PlayStation are pretty much the exact same machine. And the only
Okay,
thing
what
that
about Switch?
You tell the difference apart from them is exclusives.
Okay,
Like,
what about
those things
Switch?
do the exact same thing. Yeah, and Tony's going to hate me for this one, but at least with Switch, you get like the ability to port it around. That's something.
Okay, so to you, exclusives don't matter as much as features.
No, exclusives do matter, but just that I just find it just a bit depressing that the main consoles are just not doing anything exciting. It's like, hey, here's a machine that plays like all these games, but it plays these games as well. It's like, okay, what else does it do?
Well, Brian, quite frankly,
that comparator does. It's like, oh, it's a bit depressing.
I'm happy that Sony is focusing on having exclusive games rather than exclusive features. Like I could care less. I couldn't care less about having an extra feature that they're doing. Like I don't know, whatever.
You play games, not exclusives.
Sports,
you don't play.
like,
You don't play fucking features, bro.
I bought those consoles because they're gaming machines, and if I could play every game on Xbox that I can play on PlayStation, then there's no point in owning both of them.
At a point there. All right, I'm going to leave it there because we're going down a rabbit hole right now. All right, next up here, also from Hashling, a very interesting question. He's not going to like my answer. Okay, would you guys live stream a playthrough of a game if your audience gifted it to you?
No.
Oh, that sounds like a rabbit hole right there.
No, I wouldn't do it.
Do we have to blindly accept the game? Like,
Yes.
be like whatever game you send me, we have to play through?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
No,
No,
because
fuck
they're gonna
no.
pull the shit out of
No,
us.
I wouldn't do that. Because I know what this guy's thinking already. I know what he's thinking. He's gonna send me the fucking Witcher 3. And then I would be nope, not going down that rabbit hole, son. Fuck that.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's
plus,
it's
listen, I just don't have. Listen, I can't like devote. Like, okay, you know what I do for a living, right? I play games for a living. I can't be like, okay, I'm gonna stop my work so I can play this fucking game and live stream it 3 hours a night, dude. Nah, it's not feasible, man.
I mean, in fact, there's a bit. I mean, obviously because you have lots of other things that you need to be playing. But I mean, the thing is, it's like. Would somebody be obligated to play it? I don't know. I mean, it depends.
That's the thing. I'm glad you said they're obligated. Obligated means it's already not fun for the person doing it.
To me, I mean, the thing is, I also, usually a gift is usually given not to spite somebody, but to kind of, bring joy to their life. So if you're planning to buy somebody who doesn't like Fortnite and say, hey, you have to play that, that's not going to be an enjoyable situation, and you're not going to get a good you're probably not going to get a good show out of it either.
In some cultures that might be torture.
We're on to you. Now, okay, but let's say
but I think part of the example is also because they want to see one of us on the show actually play a game that we would normally play. Or
they want us to play a game that they like.
Mhm.
Well, again, I understand that, and I hope we're not coming off too antagonistic because we're not. That's not our intent here.
No.
It's just not something we would be interested in.
I would.
Yeah, I was gonna say if somebody on the panel wants to,
don't say
sure.
I would. Don't say I would unless you're gonna actually do that shit.
Oh, there's an addendum
You've been saying stuff like, "Hey, I'll stream some stuff." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, Brett, he's calling you out.
Okay,
son.
Stream some shit, man, before you say stuff like that.
No, I totally will. There's a couple of addendums to that. One, I would be streaming third shift. That's my work schedule. I'm off late, so y'all motherfuckers could start tuning in at midnight. The other thing is, even if it were a game that I wouldn't necessarily be into, or a game that I hadn't thought about trying, I'd give it a chance. But I wouldn't be obligated to finish the game were I not enjoying myself. I'd give it a good run, just as if I would if I were recommended a game by somebody. If somebody really recommends a game to me, I'm gonna not just put a couple hours in. I'm gonna put in between 5 and 8 hours before I make a decision of whether I want to continue this. Try it once, or I'll try everything twice, or once, twice if I don't like it, kind of thing. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to sink 40 hours into a game because somebody feels like torturing me. Like, no, that's not how it goes. So I think one thing that we should probably clear up the panel is, like, if we're not talking about trolling here, talking about like actually sending one of us a game you think that we'd enjoy just because you want to see our walkthrough on it, or if you want to see one of us who would be, I don't want to play Resident Evil 7, but if you really want to see like Carlos play Resident Evil 7 and that was a game he was interested in, yeah, I don't think anybody here is going to debate on that. We're just very aware of how the internet likes to troll us. I'm surprised Tony hasn't received an abundance of pineapple pizzas yet.
Well, there was that one time.
but that person doesn't realize that Tony's a New Yorker and is suspicious of everything.
Yeah. By the way, for you guys who know, this actually happened live, by the way. But, for you who don't know, Torrance decided to have a pizza guy come to my crib at midnight with a pineapple pizza. So I get this phone call and he's like, I got pizza downstairs. I'm a New Yorker and I'm living the price. What do you think's going through my head? I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy. I'm sure you have pizza for me. Click. Fuck out of here, and then it turns out that you could actually order pizzas online. I had absolutely no idea, but even then, I'm like, Torrance, you should know better, bro. Adam, you know me, I'm old school, man. I want a pizza, I'll go down the street. Who the fuck orders pizza? That's crazy.
We've done me
with
and Chris,
an app, you get a phone and yo, man, and they you call your local pizzeria. They already have your address on file. That's how you order pizza.
And me, Chris, and Kristen have actually done that with was it Domino's and freaking
Domino's.
Well, did you see that Domino's now delivers to parks?
Oh God, yeah, that's asking for trouble, man.
Yeah, anyway,
we did it with Domino's and Papa John's because they were close to us.
Yeah,
you know why? Because they stay open late.
Yeah, the one time I did eat Papa John's and they gave me the runs afterwards. Yeah, it was because they they stay up late.
Yeah, Papa John's
terrible fucking pizza. So yeah, it's like that was a
sugar.
troll that backfired hard. It's like Torrance spent all this money. I'm like, hey, listen, man, I'm not opening my door to no fucking body at midnight.
You think he spent money on a fucking Domino's pizza? Come on, man, that pizza is cheap.
Okay, well, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so yeah, Brett is right though. It's like, how we would be trolled to high hell. But for me, I just don't have the time for that shit. I'm not playing somebody else's game. Get out of here.
Yo, man, you're not taking the gifts.
No, and I'm gonna be extra real right now. If this was a bigger podcast and we were getting money off this, that'd be a different story. Like the weapon wheel guys, they do that shit all the time because they get paid.
Let me ask you this, Tony. If it were a game like Spider-Man, a game that you were already playing, right? So the only trade-off here would be we buy you the game and you stream when you're playing it, right? So the only difference would be instead of playing it private, you'd be playing it in public and not buying the game. Does that change your opinion? I'm just curious.
Well, with Spider-Man, Sony already gave me that shit beforehand, so nobody.
No, if you didn't get the game, and
who was it? It was fucking a shout out to AJ, man. He was like, yo, Tony, man, I'll buy you. He said this. I'm being dead ass. He's like, yo, Tony, I'll buy you Red Dead Redemption if you eat a pineapple pizza on air. I'm like, bro, I'm getting that shit from Rockstar. I don't need that shit, and I wouldn't do anything. AJ, I'm keeping it real. This motherfucker offered me upwards of $140 to eat a slice of pineapple pizza on air. I said, fuck that. I'd rather do something to a man than that, and I wouldn't do that either.
No,
fuck
Slow
that
your
shit.
roll, Turbo.
Chill.
Bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. What do you mean do something to a man? Slap him beside the head. That's what I'm talking about. Oh man, what head, Tony?
Exactly.
So yeah, no, yeah.
We getting crazy. Ooh, Sunday Night Madness with Tony.
It's really
Oh,
sucker
funny
free
pants. Here we
Sunday,
go.
man. Yes.
Headline: Tony would dick slap for a copy of Red Dead 2.
Yeah, Dick Tracy, right?
Oh.
No, not, but okay, yeah. Probably not. I probably wouldn't do that. Because then I'll have to play a game at a specific time, and I'm still, even if it's a game I like, I'm still being forced into it, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So that already makes it like less appealing, you know. But if somebody else wants to do it, that's perfectly fine. Okay, as a group, we're not against it. As individuals, we might be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna rule this out, but I'm not gonna do it. All right, moving on here. Illustrated Dio. All right, just for the record, I was not going to ask this question if Manny wasn't here, but he is here, so I'm going to ask this question.
I'm here.
Because you're going to go into detail with this one. All right, so he goes, if Konami had no choice but to sell the Metal Gear franchise to another company, and this is the detail shit, who would you want publishing it, directing the story, the engine used, finalizing the promo/art direction, title of the new Metal Gear game, and what part of the Metal Gear lore would you want to take place in? He gives us an example to work off of. Yeah, he went in, son. So this is his example, that we could use as our basis. Also, he said you cannot include Hideo Kojima or Joji Shinkawa in your answer.
I already have my answer.
Okay,
man.
so he goes for his answer. He goes, he wants the publisher to be either Sega or Capcom. He wants the director and writer to be Toshihiro Nagoshi, Yakuza, or Hideaki Itsuno, Devil May Cry. Art by Tetsuya Yoshikawa, I don't know who that is, or Mike Diodato Jr. Very interesting one right there. Developer to be Capcom or Guerrilla. Use the Unreal 4 Decima engine, and he wants the title to be Metal Gear Solid 6 Fox, the missing chapter of Metal Gear Solid 5, all the way to the end of Metal Gear Solid 2. Damn, son, you went in.
So I'm gonna say this, and this might sound like blasphemy or something like that. I don't need another Metal Gear game.
Thank you. You took my answer. Metal Gear's done. I don't care.
I don't need it. I mean, here's the thing. I would take a remake over just. I don't need to have another numbered sequel, because as we know, whenever those sorts of things happen, another developer takes over, they're never able to recapture the magic of what was happening.
I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think another developer could do a Metal Gear game as good as Kojima. I'm just being honest.
I don't think so either.
I would not want to play a Kojima.
I don't think they need a new Metal Gear game, but I would say I would love to see them remake a lot of the games as he intended.
Well, the whole thing about making the game as good as Kojima, like Metal Gear was Kojima, like that was like
that's what I'm saying.
It would. The thing is, it's like
was him.
We've seen this before. Like how every single Halo game that comes out, as much as everybody's excited about that, that's still missing that magic that the original games that Bungie made had. Look at Gears of War right now. Gears of War is, as much as everybody seems to like the last one, those don't really hold a candle to the previous ones.
Yeah, not even close.
Just for the plain fact that Cliffy B is not even involved. So I feel like, and just with Kojima, with the Metal Gear 6, I don't really need one. That's fine.
Yep, I agree with that. That's my answer. Don't need it. Kojima is an integral part of Metal Gear. You take him out of that, it's not going to work.
To be honest, I was perfectly fine with Metal Gear Solid 4 being the last game in the series.
Yeah.
It nipped up all the different things that needed to be told. I feel like, as much as as much as I like Peace Walker, and as much as I liked the Metal Gear Solid 5, I feel like those are borrowed time Metal Gear games that were just set about because somebody up top said, "Hey, yo, you got to keep making Metal Gear games." He said it himself at the time. Yeah. It's like, hey, listen, I would totally make other games if these guys didn't say, hey, you should continue making Metal Gear games. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, jump in, guys.
Microsoft, one of their new studios. I don't give a shit which one, and just change it up. That's all. Because they have the budget, they have the money. They would do whatever it takes to make it a hit.
Ninja Theory.
Yeah, there you go. Ninja Theory. And it could be a different type of game. I believe him. Let him do it.
Damn, hold on. I gotta read this answer from sorry if I get your name wrong, brother. And we got your questions coming up, man. Don't worry. Gervais Farron, he goes, missing the magic, LOL. The last 2 entries of Halo has made me practically hate the whole series, and it was probably my favorite series of all time. Damn, son. That says it all right there.
I was being incredibly nice about it.
Yeah, Manny, he kept it real.
I was being nice about it, dude. But I can definitely agree with that. It's like, we don't. It's just missing that. It's missing that magic that the original Halo games had.
Shit, even the off-spin, like spin-off Halo games were fucking good because Bungie was making them, freaking ODST and Reach. And yeah, like once they went to 343, like they're not bad games. They're just they don't have the same magic that the other ones had.
Dude, I'll even do you one better. Half of the we all know several games which may or may not remain nameless that have multiple studios working on the same franchise. That's like, for instance, that's a good reason why half the Assassin's Creed games aren't that great, and half of them are fucking amazing. Like
Call of Duty.
Another good one. You can so it can be even the same company, just different teams making them, and you'll actively start to notice, like, wow, this one team just produces way better quality product. Like, they had the B team on Mass Effect Andromeda, and you could fucking tell. And it was even still BioWare / EA. It was still the same company.
It's still the same company, but not the same people.
No, exactly. But and that's what I'm saying. Like, you switch just even a couple people in the same company. You have still the same people in charge a lot of times, and things go off the rails. So, like, you don't even need to restaff or have it go to a completely different company for the magic to disappear.
Yeah. Does anybody else care about this? Because I think me, Chris, and Manny are the big Metal Gear guys, and I think all of us are like, we're good. We don't need that shit.
We're good.
I agree.
We're good. That's I know when we call it phantom pain. You have that phantom pain of like how much is missing from the game and all this other stuff, and it's like, you know what? At this point in time, I'm good. I'm good. That's so much of the story that needed to be told.
Yeah.
And
I just think it'll be ruined if you move on. Like, look, Konami's the closest to this franchise. Even with Kojima got and everything, look how much trash Survive is, man. I don't want anyone else touching it. Fuck that.
Yeah, no.
Let me have my memories.
Yeah, I agree with Manny. Just remake Metal Gear Solid 4 for the Vita and call it a day.
Hey, see, like, this is the thing. I am not against them just doing a remake like friggin' Blue Point did. Just taking the old engine and just kind of configuring it into their own engine and making.
Let's get rid of that loading, man.
Yeah, it's just like, what? Yeah, what if you could play Metal Gear Solid 3 where there's absolutely no loading in between the sections?
Well, they actually did that for when they fixed Metal Gear Solid 4. There's only one big loading thing in the beginning, and then that's it.
Yeah, well, because they figured out people have more memory on their their consoles. That's the whole reason why they did it. They split it out because there wasn't, people had 20 gig PlayStations. But yeah, the thing, yeah, like what if you could take a lot of those games and just kind of combine them and make them all run at once instead of having to have these big long load times in between them. I would be more into that idea than kind of going out and getting a new Metal Gear, which is kind of sad. But I mean, at the same time, it's like you saw how the reaction to Metal Gear Survive. It's going to be a hard room no matter what anybody does. So why play that game at this point in time?
Yeah, you saw our stream. That's all you need to know, man.
Yeah, why play that game play that game so close to when people are so angry and so annoyed and so all this stuff with what happened with Kojima and Konami. I think they should have just.
Man, the wound is still bleeding, man.
Yeah, we're after all that bad blood happened between there, everybody's still bleeding, and then we're throwing some salt on it. So I would just say leave it alone.
Even with Kojima, or even if it still had Kojima, I mean, hands up because I'm not the biggest Metal Gear fan. I enjoy him, but the story kind of already jumped the shark a while ago, and the rest of the world. I don't know if it's really intriguing or unique enough, might be a better term, to support a lot of side story. Like, I don't really know that the franchise has a lot more room to grow. They kind of tried to do it with Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
and that kind of opened up a different fan metal fan, not exactly the traditional Metal Gear fans, but kind of like the beat 'em up fans.
You know what? That brings up a good point, though. It's like, even if Kojima was still around, do we want another Metal Gear? My answer would still be no. I'm done.
Yeah, I don't think I need a new one.
You know?
I just say at this point in time, it's got to be. It could just be like preserving whatever the magic of the originals, rather than just kind of adding something that may not be received very well by the fan base. Or the biggest thing would be to do is just let that thing. If you don't make it right away, wait years and years after, and then revive it. If we really have to go down this road,
Yeah. Give me Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 in the Fox engine. I'll be happy.
Yeah, that would be awesome, right?
Oh, that would be sweet.
1, 2, 3, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I like that idea. I want them to wait 10
And
years.
Peace Walker.
Yes.
I want them to wait 10
Yeah, Peace
years
Walker.
and put out a Metal Gear where Snake is the antagonist.
Could be interesting.
Well, that was
You're playing with Liquid?
That was you play the Liquid Snake game where
Yeah,
you
you play the Liquid Snake game. Yeah.
But I don't. Again, I don't need. It's
Right now, nah, man. Leave that shit alone, man. I don't need that. All right, I want to move on. Next question here. Who is the better story director on a scale of 1 to 5, and explain why? So these are the guys he lists. The Yakuza guy, the Devil May Cry, Dragon's Dogma, Power Stone guy, Hideo Kojima, David Cage, or Neil Druckmann.
I mean, I haven't played like a couple of those guys' games. Like, I've never played a Yakuza game. And what was the other ones?
The guy who does Devil May Cry.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something crazy? I've never owned one Devil May Cry game. I've never played them.
Oh,
They're fun, but they're not great because of the story.
Yeah.
I've never
Satisfying narrative in that Devil. Most of the time, you finish a Devil May Cry game and be like, "All right, wait, what just happened?"
Devil May Cry
It's just
is
set
like
pieces. There's no real story there.
Yeah, Devil May Cry is just a bunch of set pieces that are set together with a loose story, just an excuse to get you to blow the hell out of everything. I wouldn't. Is it a good story? I don't know.
It's not. Not at all.
No,
That's why I like the Ninja Theory game. It actually had a good story. You know.
I don't know.
The other ones are trash stories.
Devil May Cry games, and I this may sound like a rag on them, even though I respect them, but they're kind of like jerking off all over the place. It's just for the pleasure of it all. Like,
Yeah.
Thanks for the description.
Yeah, right. I do like the fact that he threw in the Yakuza guy, because those games are very, very good. Like I said, Yakuza 0 had the best story of any game I played last year. It wasn't my game of the year, but it was like the story was just so layered, so many twists and turns. So I'm glad he threw that in there. But you already know my answer, man. You already know my answer. It's fucking Kojima. You know, guy's fucking.
He kind of wants the order, though.
I'm not giving no order. Kojima 5 out of 5. Next.
Are you sure with that? With the new game coming up?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about right now. I can't judge the new game yet. You know, I could only judge right now.
Well, I mean, you're laying that. You're saying he's the best story writer
out of these guys. Out of these guys that he named, yeah.
The interesting thing will be when his new game comes out, you'll really see like what was Kojima, what Kojima brought to the table. This is really going to highlight exactly where his skill set lies.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And sometimes you find out creative geniuses work best in a team.
Yeah, but Brett, I can't answer this question in a year. I got to answer it now. You know. But I see what you're saying, though. The spirit of it. Yeah, Kojima. All these guys are good, except for Devil May Cry 5. I'm sorry, guys. Come on. There's cheap stories. You know. I don't even count him. But see, hold on. Let me add.
But dude, the story of Power Stone was awesome.
Right? Hey, Brian, how was the story in Dragon's Dogma? Because he apparently did that.
It was pretty good, actually. It had intrigue. It had some time travel type stuff. It had some actual like Dark Souls type like looping system. So yeah, it was quite good. I enjoyed it.
Would you consider him like a top tier game director?
But then, like, what makes a top tier game director? Because you think that it is Kojima, and I don't think he's top tier.
Yeah. Okay. What is to you? Because remember, it's a personal question.
if you can make a game that has a great story and great gameplay, and the two actually meld quite well, that to me is top tier. And I don't think that Kojima can do that quite well.
Okay,
He has
let me
lots of
ask
problems
the question.
with
Who
exposition.
is your gold standard for game director? Like, this is the shit. This is the guy. Like, everybody else is underneath him. Who to you is that guy?
I
That's a good question.
whoever that's the thing. Like, I don't. Whoever did The Witcher 3, I feel like that did quite well. But I don't know who ever did that because I never really checked on them. Again, I don't really like follow game directors. I just follow game studios and what they make. So hence, I have no clue.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, because because it's a baseline. Like for me, Kojima is the baseline. You know, and then you kind of go down.
Old BioWare.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were good. Those
Ken
guys.
Levine.
Yep. Ken.
Well, you said.
Yeah. Oh no, I do like Ken. I do like Ken Levine. I'm thinking about the other guy, the Colonial Marines guy.
Oh man.
Yeah, Ken Levine's good. I like Ken Levine. You know.
I like Ken Levine too, but I feel like he's also one of those kind of odd ducks. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, he can do bio games. He's been doing bio-y games for a while now. Now let's see what he's got when he gets away from that. And I think that's the same sort of question we have with Kojima. It's like, okay, dude, you're all on your own now. So what do you got? Because
see, Matt Wheaton, now he's talking. Yoko Taro, right? That guy's the bomb. I'm surprised you didn't mention him, dear Hironobu Sakaguchi, Final Fantasy guy. If he was on here, ooh, damn. Hold on, I just got fucked up right now. Hironobu Sakaguchi or Hideo Kojima.
You guys aren't gonna like.
Oh fuck, because I'm like, okay, personally Hideo Kojima, but Sakaguchi's. I'm sticking with Kojima, but goddamn, that's a good one. Tripping me up. Anyway, go ahead, Brett.
I enjoy Todd Howard's approach.
But okay, go. Yeah, explain. Please explain this one.
I agree.
It's emergent storytelling. You don't just go to your next objective on the mission. You go to your next objective on the mission, and in the meanwhile, you trigger a random event on the side of the road, or you're attacked by bandits, or you're pulled away by a side quest, so that by the time you actually make it to your destination, you've kind of written a little chunk of your own story, and your narrative becomes tailored to your play experience. It's a very careful balance to be able to do that so that it sews into a seamless personal narrative. And I can't think of anybody better than his team that's done that.
Sounds like the crickets agree.
Yeah, the crickets agree. I don't agree, but yeah, the crickets agree. You know.
I mean, I thought you would have said Miyazaki, man.
Well, that's another one, but I figured you guys would fight me on whether or not he actually even tells the story.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get into it, but I disagree. I don't think Todd Howard's a good storyteller at all. Like, to me, a good storyteller, like, I'm just going to use this language, grabs you by the balls and doesn't let go, takes you on this ride. You know, Todd Howard's like, here's a bunch of stuff. Make your own movie. It's like, that's kind of cheap. I'm not here for that, motherfucker. Tell me a story. You know, it's like, man, you go to movie theater. It's like, yo, just make your movie yourself, man. Here's some props. Go ahead. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't pay for that, you know?
I'm surprised no one's mentioned Peter Molyneux.
Oh.
He's more of a gardener.
He inspires people. That's about what I have to say about him. I mean, you know, Populous is a fun game. I can't say anything about the rest of his games, but all right.
Yeah,
Godless.
I don't know if we're answering this question correctly.
Oh, I mean, we still want out of his list.
Does he want us to rank him? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think he wants. I think he wants us to rank him.
Okay, let's rank him then. Let's do this.
Well, for you, it obviously is Kojima.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kojima. Shit. Okay,
I'll go.
Go ahead. You go ahead because I can't. This is hard right now, actually.
Kojima, the Yakuza guy. Who else? The fucking
Neil
Devil May Cry's last.
Yeah, Devil May Cry guy's 5 last, obviously. David Cage and Neil Druckmann.
Really? Worse than David Cage? Gosh.
No. These are the guys that are. Yeah. Dude, David Cage actually tells a story.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, the Devil May Cry series don't tell stories. They're just like catalysts.
Yeah. Okay, you know, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
So, Kojima, the Yakuza, and I've only played Yakuza 0, but that fucking game is fucking awesome. And I like the story. The story is just like, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's like so Japanese and I'm really intrigued by all that stuff. I think Neil Druckmann I would go, and then David Cage, and then the Devil May Cry guy.
You know what? I'm going to go with that. That's a good order. I'm going to go with that one too. That's a good order.
Go ahead, Brian.
I'm just surprised. Like David Cage, he's like in my book, he's just awful. Like the stories are just like what?
I don't think he's awful.
It's not our personal list. It's from the list that he gave us.
Yes, from the list he gave.
Yeah, ranking them. That's what I mean. Like in that list, like you put the Devil May Cry guy like below him. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, because the Devil May Cry games don't even have a story. Really, it's just hey, Dante's killing shit. You know.
Yo, Brian, I don't really like Quantic Dream games, but I can at least I like the stories better than I like Devil May Cry, because Devil May Cry stories are just these like ultra generic kind of things. Like they're just generic stories.
Okay, what story of Devil May Cry then? Out of interest.
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
Let's say the first one.
It's Dante trying to fight the ghost.
I want Carlos to explain, not you, Tony.
All right, fair enough.
Carlos.
I don't know. I forgot.
Okay.
That's how good it was.
That's the problem.
That's the problem with those games. Like, the stories are just like what it's like. There are just reasons for you to get to the next.
Yeah, the fact he can't tell you the story already lets you know that it's not a good story.
But then again, I haven't played all the games, but I've watched Chris play them, and I was just like, all right, they look awesome. It's fun. It's fun to play, but they're really more about gameplay than just than story.
The most memorable part of Devil May Cry games is the combat. That's the biggest thing about that whole game. Like no one, I haven't heard anyone say, "Yo, the story in this game is fucking crazy."
Exactly.
Actually, no, they actually are saying, "Yo, this story in this game is fucking crazy."
Yo,
Also,
do you even know what? Alternatively, do you even know what's going on in a fucking Bayonetta game?
No,
seriously. It's like the same sort of storytelling.
So you're gonna kill them, and that's what's going on.
Yeah, he's
here's all I'm gonna say about Devil May Cry: sword with a throttle.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's no, it's shallow as shit.
David at least
David Cage kind of wins by default over that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I can at least appreciate David Cage taking chances with different narratives, even though I don't think he executes them as well as people think he does. But at least he's trying to do that. And while Devil May Cry is just generic bullshit.
Well, but again, Devil May Cry is that's and again, what we're saying that the story is generic bullshit, but that doesn't mean that that the game isn't fun to play.
No, but we're specifically talking about the story here. The gameplay is good, but the story is just trash.
We all enjoy playing it. It's just story wise, no.
It's like, yes, I've decided to play I love the Devil May Cry series because of the story.
Dude, I'll be honest, it's kind of the same thing with with Max Payne. What's the story of Max Payne? Bad guys killed your family, and then what?
You run around in
bullet
slow motion.
time. That's it.
They killed my family. What do I do? Time to shoot people in slow motion.
Pretty much. You're like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I killed everybody until I found the guy who was responsible, and then I killed him.
Granted, Max Payne does have a bit of a deep story, but the thing is that it is fairly enough to just enough story to kind of get you to move to the next whatever place you're going to be, But they do have all this kind of character study stuff and all kinds of other things. More so in Max Payne 2, though.
See, I was just gonna say if Dio would have taken out the Devil May Cry guy and put in Yoko Taro, David Cage would be at the bottom.
Or maybe if you put in the guy, the guy who directed Max Payne and a bunch of other games for those guys.
And I kind of agree with Brett with Todd Howard. I think Brett takes more steps towards like that more than I do. Like he takes more leaps with sort of the way Todd Howard narrates games, but I kind of agree.
Yeah, I don't know. The Fallout stories are cool, but they don't really leave any lasting impact on you. It's like the first one, you got to clean the water. It's like, okay, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you got to take the side stories into account too.
Like the fucking tree.
Yeah, the tree. No, the side story. Yeah, the tree was cool. The alien ants were cool, or whatever is cool.
Silver
But it's
Shroud
like
was awesome.
but
There was a
like,
Super Mutant story that was really good.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's like the little stories are good, but as a whole, you don't really feel like there's this like meticulously created story that you're being funneled through.
I mean, I think that's the difference between a picaresque and a full-on story, where it's like for a game for something like Fallout, the game is more of a sense of a world. So it's like you have your story going on, and you also interact with other people's stories. But there is, I think that's what the focus of the game. They're not really trying to send you totally down a funnel.
Yeah,
or
and that's fine, because people like that stuff too. Me, I prefer more structured stories that do go down. I'm going to use that word everybody hates more, a linear path, But I love the world of Fallout. That's why I keep playing those games. But I don't go in there for the story because I know I'm not going to get anything compelling out of that,
Yeah, I mean, you're like this. It's not we've heard it before when people said about the previous Fallout game, where it's like, yeah, all the stories that were not the main story were actually more interesting than the actual story was.
Yeah, for sure.
Than your main character story was. Your character story arc is.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to finish up this question.
So for me, I wouldn't. It's weird because I wouldn't put either. I enjoy Kojima, but I wouldn't put him at the top. But I feel like I kind of have to, because in the whole scheme of things, I like him better than like his work better than David Cage and Neil Druckmann.
Yeah, remember, this is for you personally, not objective.
Yeah, so I guess I would say I would say Kojima. I would say probably Neil Druckmann, David Cage. What was the other one?
Yakuza.
Yakuza guy is probably I can't, out of just I respect the guy's work, but I'd have to put him at the bottom because of the fact that I've never played any of his games before. So so it's a little bit weirdly biased. Oh well, no, the BioShock guy, right?
No, the Devil May Cry guy.
The Devil May Cry guy, yeah, I put those two on the bottom.
All right, so they share number 5 then.
They both share number 5 because
sometimes like some share number 1. This is the first time I've heard of them sharing number 5. So I like that answer, Manny.
Well, I mean, it's sad because I've never played in a Yakuza game, but I feel like at the same time I don't. I've used this term before, where it's like I don't want to go into that world, as silly and as goofy as that one is. I don't know if I want to go to that place, but I'd definitely go down if it had a Fist of the North Star skin.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Chris, list go.
I would say, to me, Hideo Kojima would be on top. And just because I think his stories are not only very cerebral, but the man is some sort of prophet, where he has been able to predict things like memes and how I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 is like almost coming to life now with the internet and the way things are and fake news and all that shit. That's what they was talking about then. And then in 3 he was it was like what was the main thing? There was genes and there was memes and there was something else.
And it was about how and how basically your enemy in a war today might be your ally tomorrow, and how things exactly. I love that. That's what I love about Kojima. He really like lets you look at human nature and really analyze. A lot of game developers don't really do that to me. Like it's just amazing what he does.
Right. So I think that's why his storytelling is like a cut above the rest, because he's not using like these formulas that other people use. Like I think Neil Druckmann's a good storyteller, but he uses formulas.
Yeah.
He has a storytelling formula and he uses it over and over and over again. Same thing with Pixar. Everybody loves Pixar movies. Same formula over and over and over. They have I forgot what the 25 points of Pixar are, and they use it in every movie. Right. Same thing with him. So like Kojima goes beyond that because he's not following any sort of formula.
He is using a formula, the Kojima formula.
Right? So it's like, it's so good. I'd say, so for me, Neil Druckmann's second, but again, he's formulaic. That's why he's not on top. I don't actually like David Cage's storylines because it's like too centered on on a theme, like a theme of the day. So it's like, oh, with robots, it's a metaphor for racism, or it's a metaphor for this. It's just metaphors. So I don't know. I just kind of find it boring. So I would say I would say the Yakuza guy edges him out for sure in my book. And I on the bottom I put the Devil May Cry 5 guy. While it's action and stuff, I don't think Devil May Cry has any sort of story that's coherent to make sense. It's just a reason for him to shoot monsters.
Basically. All right, Brian, get in here, man.
Okay, who's 5 again?
Oh, the guys are let me list them in his order here. Where the fuck are we? Yakuza guy, Devil May Cry guy, Hideo Kojima, David Cage, and Neil Druckmann.
Okay, I think I'll work from the bottom up. Save the suspense for like last couple. I'd say David Cage, last, because I do not feel like he's able to tell a good story. The content of what he tells is all right, but he just doesn't tell it well. He seems just want to just bore you to death with like the most mundane crap ever, which I just find boring. Next after that is Neil Druckmann. I just feel like the guy just huffs his own thoughts at times, and he just thinks his stories are way more grandiose than they actually are. I mean, say what you will about Last of Us, that's pretty much a played out zombie story. I'm sorry, but that's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to it. Next I would put what it was Devil May Cry guy, Yakuza guy, and
Kojima.
I would put Yakuza guy because I've not played any of his games, so hence I have no idea. But I'm guessing that they must be somewhat decent. The fact that there's like 7 Yakuza games out there, so hence they must be good in some degree. I would put the DMC guy on top of Kojima. I feel like Kojima, like the main problem with him is that he just doesn't. He seems to. He does like the main thing in films that you're not meant to do. He tells you rather than shows you stuff, and I feel like that's his major downfall. I can't remember what that term is. There's a specific term for that in storytelling, and I feel like that's what makes him.
I'm surprised you like anime, Brian.
Well, sorry.
I'm surprised you like anime.
That's a good point. They tell you everything.
Yes, it's a damn problem. Dragon Ball Z has that. Well, Dragon Ball in general has that as like a big issue. Like I tend to just skip like most of the dialogue because it's just them just telling you stuff. It's like, don't tell me that they're much stronger. Show me how they're much stronger. Show me that they managed to like accomplish something that they couldn't beforehand. Hence why I like the fight scenes. But yeah, most anime has that as a major problem. Like I'll sit here and say that. Like yeah, it's a major problem. Like most game stories have that as well, where they just seem to just tell you what happened rather than show you. And this is actually what I feel like Spider-Man does well. Because like, hey, like rather than telling us what Mary Jane did, they show us what Mary Jane did. Like, hey, bravo! Like you guys are actually like learning. Like you show, don't tell. It's something that Shakespeare has said when he was alive. Like, what the fuck's wrong with people? Yeah, and I guess that the DMC guy on top by default because he as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't fall into any of these traps. So, yeah.
Yeah, Brian, these guys are not happy with you in the chat.
I don't care. They're not happy. They're just mad that I said that Last of Us is a zombie game, and then again, like really triggered. It's like, oh, The Last of Us. Like, oh gosh, get over it.
Gervais says he goes, we're tired out here in the UK. Must be getting to him.
But
no, Brian took a nap, man.
I will say this though, it's pretty hard to be the director of a successful franchise where most of the fan base hates the main character.
Oh shit!
What do you mean?
Everyone hates Dante.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Dante's an asshole. Never
the
liked
internet.
him. Yeah.
Again, who are you talking to? Like everyone that I've talked to, they love Dante. They was like super stoked when he came back. Remember how pissed people got when they changed Dante?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, when they changed his hair and they lost their
minds. On.
Yeah.
Come on, Carlos.
They were mad when they changed him. But they're mad with that character.
They changed him. People got mad, and yet they hate him. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, people get triggered about everything.
Okay, I liked Cole McGrath. They changed him. I got annoyed because I liked the way he was before. I didn't hate him. Like Tony hated Cole when they changed him. He liked the new Cole because he hated the old Cole. Like, come on.
I don't know. I just think people like, from what
No.
I've seen, people like Nero more than they like Dante.
As far as I've seen, people still like Dante more because he's less of a gimmick character. But
Dante's
Nero
the
is still
epitome of a gimmick character.
What world is that? He's totally
the
a fucking
epitome of a gimmick character, man. Fuck Dante. You know.
Here's the thing. I don't say fuck Dante because I
will. Nero's the man.
I think he's a fine. I think he's a fine character for a video game character, where he just blows the shit out of everything. And to be honest, Nero looks almost exactly like it's almost like it's the same exact character, just younger.
No, but he actually has better mechanics than Dante. That's what makes.
And we're not talking about mechanics. We're talking about story.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Devil May Cry games don't have a bunch of story.
Yeah, as far as character goes, they're bullshit. They're both bullshit.
Like, number one, they're both wisecracking assholes. So who gives a shit which one is making the wisecrack?
Yeah,
you know
that's a good point.
And I think the only reason why people are giving a care about why there's this disposition between Nero and Dante is because how long has it been between the two characters? There's almost a totally different generation that grew up with Dante games.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going because we're on this question too fucking long. Brett, go ahead, man.
Oh man, people are gonna love me.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
See if you can top Brian.
The greatest creator of all time.
Brian got the chapel pissed.
Are you gonna top me? That's the question.
You know,
he said the Devil May Cry guy. You can't beat the
yeah. That's it. He named the shittiest guy as number one.
Well, no, I put him at the bottom. If we're talking about strictly story and presentation of story, and I'm going to apply both of those to my ranking. Devil May Cry comes in last. There's only as much story as you need to know to get to the next point, and then you kind of have already forgotten about the thing that you were just doing. All you know is you're like, okay, I'm killing 3 demons or something, and that is less than bare bones story. So he goes at the bottom. At number 4, I put Kojima. I'm sorry, when you need that many cutscenes in order to tell a story, I think you're not doing it right.
I'm surprised somebody didn't actually mention that already, to be honest.
That's just I'm not saying that his stories are bad. I'm saying that I kind of agree with Brian in that you could be showing and telling instead of showing or telling, but you seem to want to split the two up so you have long moments of exposition and then gameplay that doesn't really give you a whole lot of new information, and then more exposition to lead the story forward, when I feel like you should be able to combine the two of them. So I don't think he's real great at the execution. Great at the conception, not so much at the execution.
He's fairly self-indulgent in his own research. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's also kind of the fun of it, you know?
But
the fact that he's so, and I usually don't like self-indulgence, but with him I really like it because it's very well thought out. Like you said, it's very deep, you know, how far he knows and stuff.
But I definitely do feel like, I mean, with especially with some people, the way the way they receive him, I do feel like that is an issue, a common issue with him, where it's like it's quite self-indulgent into the whole thing that he does. He is fairly guilty of essentially just constantly throwing cinematics at you rather than actually letting the interior game tell you the story as you're going along.
And ironically enough, I felt Metal Gear Solid 5 did not have enough cinematics to explain what the fuck was going on.
Yep.
But anyway,
keep going, Brett.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett. Keep going.
Okay, so on that same note, next comes Yakuza, and I have to deduct points on that because as great as the story I think that it is, it still doesn't have all the little accoutrements. It's still not a fully modernized game in the way that it tells stories to me, especially the side stories. So I kind of have to deduct points, even down to like lack of voice acting on certain parts in certain games still. So that loses just a little bit of points. I absolutely love what's there, but I think that when you're playing such a fleshed out main story and then you go into a little side thing that just kind of feels raw or bare bones, it pulls me out of the immersion, and so I had to deduct points for that. So kind of by default, I puts Neil Druckmann up at number 2. More for Uncharted 2 than The Last of Us, honestly. It was one of my favorite Uncharted games. I felt it told the best story, and I felt it had a lot of really great interpersonal character
Was he
dialogue.
the director of that one? I thought he was the director of 4.
No, he directed all the Uncharted
He directed
games.
all of them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And at the top, I put David Cage, and I give him bonus points mostly for the incredible complexity it tells to write a compelling choose-your-own-adventure story. I mean, that is, if we're talking about good storytelling here, it is incredibly difficult to plan for every action and have a branching storyline and have all of those storylines be equally compelling and equally satisfactory while seeming like there's no jumps in it or hitches in it where it doesn't just jump you or throw you into what's obviously a pre-channeled path. The whole thing feels organic no matter how you play the game. So it's not just one story, it's 16 stories all overlaid on top of each other. That's pretty good. So, or that's pretty difficult. So I give him some bonus points on that. So even in my opinion, a fairly high-end mediocre, low-end good story is extremely difficult to write for in that format. And I feel like he's done a solid job most of the time. Not every time, not every Quantum Dream is a home run, but it's really solid storytelling with some of the most freedom you have to affect your story. And I kind of got to tip my hat to that.
I like that answer. All right, Adam, what's your ranking?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't pay much attention to any. I never was a big fan of Devil May Cry, and Yakuza. The last one I played was Yakuza. Was it 0? It was all right, but didn't care much. So I guess I just go with Kojima because I played more Metal Gear games, and I like the wackiness of all of it. Just it's such a crazy world. So I would just put Kojima as number 1, and everybody else can just go in the trash.
They're going to bag of suck, right?
That's it. Bag of suck. It's sucker work, sucker too. It don't matter. It's like
man, they all
have
suckers.
Favorites. That's it. They all suckers.
Oh man, I like that one best of all. All right, let's go move on here. Mr. Gervais here. So this is a fun one. Adam, you're gonna love this one. He goes. People say that Call of Duty guys don't play the story by looking at the achievements. In BO3, I guess that's Black Ops 3, only 42% of players reached level 10. And in World War II, only 62% got 10 kills in multiplayer. So what are people actually doing? It seems to me like they're not actually playing a lot of multiplayer from what he says.
But the same goes with the story. Well, for just so he knows, I'm in that percentage because I've done them both on those. I do them on all of them. But I know that a large majority of people buy it, they play a little bit, and then they move on. It's just, it's one of those games that just people feel the need that they have to get every year. It's like, oh, this is the Call of Duty. Yeah, I want to get the shooter. But yeah, you could see that people aren't getting the trophies for the multiplayer, and the same thing with the campaign. You know,
hey Adam, here's another one. Just another interesting statistic you'll like. He goes, only 18% of the achievements for winning 5 multiplayer matches on Infinite War. Think about that. Only 18 win 5 matches in multiplayer. Only 18%
that was an
of them.
Easy one.
Wow. So, but I think no, you're right about that. And the thing is, we've always talked about this before. Basically, studies have shown that only 25% of people that buy, basically, of the people who buy games, only 25% of them or less actually finish them. So I think this has to account for that too. They buy Call of Duty because hey, it's Call of Duty is the big thing. They play it a couple of hours and then they're done. So I think that's what's going on here too. What do you think? Exactly. What do you think of that, Adam? Do you think that's the factor?
That's exactly what's happening because it's all the time. Like it's so crazy. Like when I see like even with a lot of the YouTubers that I follow and they're pro streamers, they're doing some amazing kills and gears and going on these streaks. And if you look at the comments, the people that make the comments, it's always like the same handful of guys, but yet they have like 50,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So it's like people are following them and watching, but they're just like, wow, look at that guy. As opposed to people making comments or people that are really into him, like, yeah, I tried your gear set. I was able to do this. Yeah, what's a good hiding spot up on the top of the, they're really engaged in it. So the community seems kind of small, the active community, but the people that buy it, that's that popular game. That's that new hotness. Oh, gotta get it. Just like a lot of people run on and get Madden. But if you see, I've seen the same thing where it's like, oh, win a certain amount of games, and I don't even see anyone getting it. It's like ultra rare. Are you kidding me? It's like the easiest thing to do. Just play the damn shit.
No, you're right about that. Like me and Manny have a friend, right? That he told us this. He's like, because we're like, why the fuck are you buying Call of Duty? He's like, because I kind of feel like I should. Like, he doesn't even care about him. You know, it's just because there is the hot game. You know.
What was it the other day? You know, and I was hanging out with some people, and everyone's gamers, and me and one other guy were talking about how, you know, the new one doesn't have the campaign, and as if Blackout's really gonna carry it over. And this other dude who always gets all of them, he was like, "What? What do you mean I don't have a campaign?" I was like, "Didn't you hear?" He was like, "Nah, I just figured it would." You know, I'm like, "Whatever." I don't really follow it, but I just figured it. Why wouldn't it? That's what it's been known for. You know, the Michael Bay experience. That's what set it apart. It's like, we know this. They don't seem to know this. You know, and they took it out. So it's going to be tricky with this new one. It's definitely going to be tricky. And like I said before, yesterday, last week, whatever it was I'm looking for Thursday, $60 compared to free for Fortnite and $30 for PUBG. So we'll see if it brings in a new audience, but who knows? I could see a lot of people not knowing that there's no campaign, buying it, and then being like, yo, what the fuck is this? I didn't know this. Well, you're not really following. You're just automatically assuming. You know, and a lot of people can get it, and then that's one thing that the whole trophy system really woke me up to. Because on the Xbox you see achievements, but you don't really see a percentage. But on the PS4, the fact you could see common, rare, and ultra rare. And I remember Titanfall 2 was that I was on mission 3, and it was listed at ultra rare, and the game was out for like 3 weeks. Are you kidding me? This is mission 3.
Yeah, people don't beat games, man. They just buy them and that's it.
You know what I mean? Like, I could understand if we were toward the end of the game, you just walked away. Mission 3. You know, I just don't get it. Like, why get it and not go that far into it? Like,
but yeah, that's how most people are. It's an interesting thing. By the way, Adam, you'll like this guy, Gervais. He says he tried Blackout and hated it. Hated it.
And that's the thing. It's not for everybody. And the people that are loving it are people that are into that whole battle royale world already. So to them, this is like, oh, wow, this is what I wanted. It's like, okay, well, this is not what I wanted, and I'm in the Call of Duty world. And this is not a Call of Duty. And this is Call of Duty, that team doing something in that world. They should have had it separate. This is just not, or just kept it as like a separate mode. The fact that they have to use this as the main focus for this gen version sucks. And I'm sure it sucks for them too, because they don't want that. They don't want to divide the community up. They want to be like, hey, you got your campaign, you got your zombies, you got your multiplayer. And if you're into this new hot shit over here, whatever, jump on it. If not, don't worry about it. Now it's like, it's the forefront. That's what everybody wants to know, because the campaign's not there. Multiplayer is multiplayer. Zombies is zombies.
Yeah, whatever, man. But it's interesting. All right, let's move on here. His next question is, I'm pretty sure we've answered this before, but again, this is the first time I'm seeing you here, so we're going to answer it. What's your favorite JRPGs of all time? This should be easy for us, guys.
Favorite JRPGs of all time, man.
Can I mention something before we all
Final
go?
Fantasy. That's it.
Which Final Fantasy?
7.
Okay.
God damn it!
That's
I was about to say, I think this will be the first podcast you'll ever listen to where we answer that question and not mention 7 right away, and that's exactly what we did.
Good. That's the only one that matters.
Nah, man, 6.
No,
Oh
7
shit!
made
So
me so
Gervais
happy.
says he's been listening for 5 years, but it's the first time he's asked questions. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Thanks a
Appreciate
lot, man.
that, man.
And he's from the UK.
Yeah, man. Shout
you
out.
go.
You know.
There you go. Arsenal for life. There you go. I mean, don't tell Brian this because he doesn't know there's football in this country. But
Come on, man.
besides that, it's only Arsenal
Yeah,
for
but
life.
we had to say Final Fantasy VII. You have to, you know. For me, yeah, Final Fantasy VII is a good one. I'm gonna throw it up there because it's just in my mind recently. Dragon Quest XI. Holy shit! Great fucking game, man. And as you mentioned, Gervais, Persona 5, another one, great game. And then going back to the more older school, Skies of Arcadia, that's a good one. Grandia 2 was great. Sega Saturn guys, man, you're gonna like this one. Shining the Holy Ark, that was a good one. That was my first JRPG, you know. Because little story for you guys, right? I did not like RPGs at all back in the day. Hated them, you know. Then I saw Manny play Final Fantasy VII, opened my mind. But I had a Saturn. I couldn't play the game. So the closest I could get was Shining the Holy Ark. And I loved it. And then I'm actually doing a little bit of research on it. Apparently, a lot of other people really liked the game, too. I thought I was the only one, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a bunch of them, man. Good, JRPGs are good. You know, great fucking...
Last Remnant?
Last Remnant?
Last Remnant?
On the Xbox, yeah.
No, I didn't play. I know. I played a little bit. Go ahead, Brett. You go now.
Is that the one that had like
Those the guns, right?
It had like a different combat system.
Instead of building a team, like a squad of like up to 5 people, you built 5 squads of up to 5 people. And so they attacked in like squad groups, right? So let's say you had a group that was 2 warriors and like a shield person and an item user, they wouldn't be able to. That squad attacks as a group, right? So you could like do shield attacks and spear attacks, but you couldn't do magic. But then the second you put a mage into that party, the mage lent their power, and so that squad could then form up into a formation and basically hold up the mage, and the mage would cast fireballs. So you basically each squad acted as a character normally would, and then each of the characters in the squad that had their own equipment and their own armor and their own skills all lent their different power sets to the squad, so the squad could execute different things. So you ended up managing an entire actual army of like 50, 60. I think at one point you could have like 6 squads or something like that, of 5, something like that. So you ended up controlling a shitload of people, but the game was awesome. The story on it was on point, like old school Final Fantasy on point.
Yeah, hey, go ahead, Brett. Keep listening. A couple more.
Let's see. Azure Dreams was one of my favorite ones.
I see you like Azure Dreams.
I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that before. My favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy VI. I also really enjoyed the original Final Fantasy Tactics. One of the first games that really had the idea of a permadeath mode, which was way before we had roguelikes at all. So like the idea of you're like, man, I'm going to build this sorcerer up and cross-train him, and oh no, he just got stabbed in the face. Son of a bitch, my afternoon is ruined. But it added a sense of threat to the game that you didn't really get a lot in that time.
By the way, since Brett mentioned a strategy RPG, I'm going to do it too. Valkyria Chronicles, fucking awesome. This is a chump dude. He wasn't even one of my main guys. When this motherfucker died and I realized I couldn't bring him back, he was dead forever, I felt horrible. I'm like, fuck. And I heard they brought that back for the new one, so that's going to be interesting, But yeah, that game, if your characters die, they're done, I love Valkyria Chronicles. Anyway, Manny, JRPGs.
I would say Final Fantasy IV or Final Fantasy 2 in the United States. I would say 7, 9, Chrono Trigger. I have a nice little affinity for Illusion of Gaia. The old East games, like 1 and 2, and I think 3. Lunar the Silver Star and Lunar Silver Star, and then Lunar 2 Eternal Blue for the Sega CD and later the PlayStation, which I think those games were localized pretty recently. And yeah, I think that's all. And I can't mention this one enough. Dragon Quest VIII for PlayStation 2.
Yay.
Yay.
Vampire the Masquerade says, Nay in Final Fantasy Star 2 beat Aerith by nearly a decade for a tragic RPG death. That is true.
Yes. Was that? Yes.
Yeah,
wait. Oh, Aerith?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7? Okay.
Yeah, because remember, everybody's like, oh my god, that was the most tragic RPG. I was like, yeah, the girl in Fantasy Star 2 actually predated that. But not,
Nii. Oh yeah, I forgot that. I forgot Fantasy Star 2 with Nii, and that one. That was a great one.
Yeah. All right, Chris, go.
Can I go before Chris?
Oh sure, go ahead.
What?
Yeah,
okay.
Chris, just hold on, man. Carl's just younger and faster than you, man.
I usurped Chris because I want to usurp his answer.
Uh-oh.
Pokemon. Any of them.
Yeah.
I love fucking Pokemon. I still love Pokemon. Lost Odyssey, the Persona games. Well, I've only played Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5. Both of them are fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
What else? The Bravely Default series.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What else? Yeah, Final Fantasy in general is just a good franchise. I like all the games except for I don't know. I barely played 8, but I like everything else. Oh no, I didn't like 13, and I didn't like 11. But yeah, other than those games, all the rest of them are pretty good. I don't know. I think that's it. There's probably more, but I just can't think of them right now.
If anybody in here says Final Fantasy VIII, you're off the show.
Well, obviously, even Square wants to forget about Final
No,
Fantasy.
they didn't put it in
You
that
know?
bundle, man. Shit.
Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say my favorites like Skies of Arcadia. Those are one of my favorite. Skies of Arcadia and Grandia 2 on Dreamcast. Like those were
Hell yeah.
fantastic. I also liked whatchamacallit, Bravely Default. I like the Yeast games. So I played a little bit of two, but I played one. I'm still trying to finish it. I kind of jumped ahead, but they were pretty good. They played different than other old games. Chrono Trigger was good. Valkyria Chronicles is really good. Let me see, what else did I play? If anyone's ever played Super Mario RPG,
Yeah,
that one was good.
Yo, all the
but that's all Square, man.
But it's not like Final Fantasy, but it is made by Square. Sure.
Chris, have you played the other Mario RPG, the Mario and Luigi RPG games?
Yeah, the Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story. Those are very good.
Those are good. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I would say the Tales series. Those are good.
Oh yeah, those are good.
And Golden Sun. If anybody's ever played Golden Sun.
Oh man, god damn it! Can that shit come back?
That's Nintendo.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Brian, do you like any JRPGs? I don't think you do.
Yeah, I like a couple. Final Fantasy is all right. Does Dark Souls count as a JRPG?
I'm
Or
gonna
like...
count it as one, yes, because it's a RPG from Japan. So you know what? Sure.
Yeah, the Dark Souls formula works quite well. You know, it's quite enjoyable. It has fun moments. Pokemon is quite fun. Like, believe it or not, it's just one of those like nice, like turn off your brain and RPG type games. So
I like
that's
to,
all
I
right.
like to nickname that one "Baby's First RPG."
Yeah, pretty much.
It is baby's first RPG. Like no one can say anything else. Like you build your party, you have elemental stuff. You know, it teaches you about like learning the weaknesses and also again, it's a good entry point RPG. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't have anything else.
Does Senran Kagura have an RPG?
It's definitely not an RPG, which is the worst part. It's like fuck.
We need to know more about the stories.
I won't say Dragon's Dogma, but I don't know if that was.
I'm gonna count it as an
Capcom Japan or
RPG.
not.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
count it.
Japanese
It's a
game.
Japanese RPG. It counts.
All right. Yep, Dragon's Dogma it is then.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, I was wrong. Then you do like some of them. You just don't like turn-based ones. That's the ones you don't like.
I just feel like we have outgrown turn-based games for the time being. And for the record, I did like Divinity Original Sin, which I thought was one of the most fantastic RPG games in the last 10 years. I may like it more than Witcher 3.
with that.
Have
Whoa,
you played
you may
two?
like it more than Witcher 3. Hold on, people.
I've not played 2 yet. I'm just going through like the first one with like some
Yep.
friends.
Yo, if you ever need a partner for 2, let me know because I'm still like I started playing it, but I couldn't like. It's better when you play it with co-op.
Oh, it's much better when you play it in co-op. Love it.
Which game is this?
Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh,
Is it still 2-player? Did they? I know they did a mod for 4-player in the first one. Is the
Second one is 2-player local, but 4-player online.
Mm-hmm.
oh shit? We should start a throwdown party.
Yeah. I just need to throw this in here. People are yelling at us if we don't throw this in here. Xenogears. I never played it, so I can't. vouch for
I
that.
can't. I can't.
I never
say-
played
I
it
can't,
either.
I can't give that game anything. I'm sorry. So Xenogears is not.
Well, yeah,
one
Manny
of
doesn't
my
like it
favorites.
though.
I
That's
don't. I didn't. That is one of the RPGs that I sold back. Let me just say.
I want you people to understand.
Yeah.
Manny doesn't sell games
some
back.
games, yeah.
I don't sell games back, but that game.
That and Lords of Shadow.
That third. You know, you keep everybody keeps saying that the game is genius, but that third disc is a piece of shit. Come on, you
Take it
barely
easy,
play
bro. Take it
anything.
easy.
You barely play anything in that part of the game.
That's
It
okay.
just literally shows you a bunch of cinematics on the third disc. Like you're just like reading for hours and hours. Come on, guys. I don't know about that. I know your nostalgia glasses are on, you know, pretty on full on dark, but man, but that,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm gonna
my
be
own-
honest with you, man, because I was
After
watching.
people with glasses.
I was watching this little thing about that game the other day because I never played it, right? And when I heard that literally the last half of that shit, it's just nothing. I like cutscenes and all that. That sounds excessive to me. You know, I'm sorry.
But here's the thing. It's actually not the fault of the actual, you know, the developers, because this just Square didn't give them enough time to do what they needed, what they really wanted to do with the game. But yeah, that game is.
Yeah, no, I realize the game's on a bunch of top 10 lists, but if Manny don't like it, he don't like it.
I don't like it. Hey, listen, listen. You guys may have something in your own personal list that you think is the greatest thing ever, but everybody else hates. Everybody's got one. That's
yeah, man. All right. Forgive me, Black Metal Gamer. We're gonna kind of slightly run through your questions a little quicker because we got 10 minutes left here. Okay. So his first question is: what remakes are done right and what remakes are done wrong?
The Shadow of the Clocks is done right. Whatever the Silent Hill ones that Konami did are the wrong ones.
Damn.
Fucked up. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Secret of Mana was done wrong.
Oh wow, yeah.
What was done right? Manny mentioned a good one.
Was it really a remake though?
Yeah, it was. It was completely remake.
No, the Silent Hill was that. That's not really a remake.
It was like a remaster, but they fucked it up.
Yeah, you know what? They had to remake the game for that one because they lost all the fucking code. So yeah, it's a remake.
I can't think of any bad. I know there's been bad ones.
I mean, there was also a lot of people would say Zone of Enders, the Zone of Enders collection were pretty bad. Oh no, those are HD remasters again. Sorry.
Yeah. Resident Evil 1 remake on GameCube was really good. That's an example of a good remake. You know,
was Yakuza 0 a remake or was that just a prequel to?
Oh shit! Thank you, Yakuza 0. No, Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2. That's how you do a fucking remake.
Yeah. I haven't played those. I didn't want to mention those.
Yeah, no, you could mention them. Fuck that. It's Yakuza. You know?
That's Yakuza.
Yeah, Manny, they agree with you. Those Silent Hill ones are trash.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like Crash Bandicoot was done well.
Yeah, that was good.
I'm trying to think of a bad remake though. Recent. I can't.
Oh, the Master Chief Collection.
Oh yeah, the Master Chief Collection. Yeah, it's pretty rough.
I might be cheating because that's not a remake. It's just a reissue. What?
It kind of was. They had to redo Halo 1 and 2 in the multiplayer, but the multiplayer didn't work.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
I would also say, and also the people might disagree with me on this one. I would have to say the Silicon Knights version of Metal Gear Solid 1. I do not like that one personally. I think
the one on the PSP.
The one on
GameCube.
Not the one, the GameCube one.
No,
I feel like that there's so many liberties taken with it, and there's so many kind of bad choices. I feel like that they do with that one. I'm not a very big fan of that one. Fucking snake flipping off of missiles. Come on, man.
Oh, the port of
the GameCube version of Metal Gear 1.
The Twin Snakes, that was it.
I don't know, man.
And they did the music over again, and it sucks.
Yeah, it was
PlayStation 1 was way better. I was gonna say Metroid: Samus Returns, very good remake, considering the other one was Game Boy.
Oh yeah, that's a great remake. Yeah, Samus Return. Yeah, the Game Boy game is still good, but yeah, the remake is fucking awesome. All right, what else? Adam, get in here, man.
What?
What are your What are some remakes that you think are done well, and which ones do you think are done bad?
Remakes that have done well. The worst one was, I have to say, was with Assassin's Creed, because I was looking forward to it, and then I saw that it had all these other like shading issues. And
that shit wasn't even a remake. That was just a remaster.
It didn't look right. Remaster, remake, redone, director's cut, all bullshit.
It's like a free Sunday.
It's all, stuff to throw you off to make you think something else. Because just like what you said, some people get a bad taste in their mouth with one, so they're like, "Oh, we'll say director's cut." What does that mean? We just added shit that no one liked in the other ones, and we put it in. Oh, okay, thanks. And it's like remake. What was it? Burnout Paradise was pretty good. It made me nauseous, but they did a.
That was a remaster.
I think for the spirit of the question, is a full on remake, not just fucking.
Full on remake.
Yeah. Well, here's another good one: the Ratchet and Clank one. They remade the first game. That was awesome.
I feel like, but they added stuff to it.
They did. They remixed it, kind of. But that's what I mean by remake.
So it's not a direct. Like, hey, we knew this one was pretty bad.
But that's also what's a remake about it too. You know what I mean? Like a remaster is just like, hey, it's just literally the same game just with a new skin. You know, that doesn't really count.
I don't know that.
5 minutes.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm moving on to the next question. Okay. Should Ninja Theory do a comic book universe game? Sure, why not? He didn't ask which one. He just said, should they do it, yes or no?
Should they do one? To be honest, I don't want them to do anything, any adaptations. Let them do their own shit. That's the problem. They shine when they're allowed to do their own thing, and then when the gavel comes down, then they make friggin' Disney Infinity.
Ninja
Which
Theory?
they did make one.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, why not?
That was to pay the bills. So I would much rather leave Ninja Theory alone. Let them be alone with their own devices. They don't need to be making a Batman or a Superman game.
Give me the bat. I want them to do Spider-Man. All right, what about you guys? You want them to do a superhero game?
I have no problem with it.
Adam?
Wait, specifically Ninja Theory?
No.
Yeah, Ninja Theory. Yeah.
I just hope they don't make them do another Halo game.
God.
Nah, I mean, I hope they just. I think they were brought in just to come up with some new ideas. That's the whole thing. That's why they picked up all these studios. They're like, we need fresh fucking ideas. We're out of ideas. If we had good ideas, we would have made them. We
Out of ideas. They never had any.
We bought our own all the ideas, all the good ideas from.
They
somebody
always
else.
bought their ideas, man. That's what they do, you know.
And that's why they're trying to change it. That's what they did. Past tense, you know, new boss. If all these studios fall apart, then yeah, we could blame him on everything. It's like, yo, you screwed up on everything. He's like, yeah, that's why I'm going back to Taco Bell. What do you mean? You're not gonna work there? No, I'm buying a
Get Don Matrick back, man.
a bunch of Taco Bells. Investing. Venture capitalists. Gotta go. See you later. Peace out. No more games. Gotta go.
Yeah, okay. Adam, you know, some of us are for it, some of us against it. Go ahead, Carlos.
No, I was just gonna say I don't think we can top what Adam just said.
Yeah, I like what Adam said, man. Get Phil Spencer at Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, man.
Everybody loves tacos. Come on now. Everybody loves tacos. Like, yo, I'm not having that shit. If you see a Taco Bell and you're hungry, you're like, yo, we're going to Taco Bell. I need a gordita. Oh, okay.
Yo, you're like, yo, why is Vince Vaughn trying to sell me tacos? Oh, man. All right, man, let's wrap this motherfucker up, man. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us your questions in the comment section of this episode here on YouTube or over on the Coalition. We'll answer them on next week's show. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Mixer, Twitter, Facebook, and Periscope at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco. Time joined by Emilio Lopez.
This is Emilio talking really fast, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Kickers are the worst part of football.
Brett Murdoch.
They're all soccer players, son.
Let Brett sign off, motherfuckers.
Yeah, motherfuckers. Bye.
Adam Vale.
I'm actually watching some superhero movies.
Really?
I watched some other. What did I watch? Captain America and some other crap. I don't know. I haven't gotten to the Daredevil stuff yet, but yeah, I'm watching. Put my kids into it, my little boy. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me actually sit down and watch some of this shit. Watch Winter Soldier. Pretty good.
Yeah, dope ass movie. And Brian Manjoma.
We still don't know how much God of War has sold yet, man. Come on, Sony, get that together.
Billions of dollars. It's not going to change your world.
We have money on this.
Yeah,
No,
Sony, you
so
fucked
many.
their bet up, man. You
know
fucked
what?
their bet up.
I don't care about any of these MPD. All of it is broken because they're not adding all the digital. I'm
They
tired
do.
of hearing, oh,
They
that's
do.
just retail. Sometimes, not all.
No,
of
they
them.
do. They tell you when they don't add the digital. They
I
do
feel like
throw
they
in
don't.
digital.
At least not
No,
for
they
all
do.
markets.
They
We hear-
told you they do, dude.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so then how's it doing in Asia? Because we know how it is.
No,
in
it's
the UK.
America, dude. It's America.
Oh, we're just going through America. Okay,
Yeah.
I see. How
That's the way it's always been.
one side. You damn American fucking
You
shit.
guys are
Take care.
catching a glimpse of post-Throwdown discussions.
Yeah,
So
right?
enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh,
America thinks
man.
it's so high and mighty. Get all their fucking MPDs first. Suck a
Yo,
bitch.
man, that's why that shit matters, man. Fuck Asia, right? I'm quoting the Xbox guys now. That shit don't matter. It's only in America, man. All right, man. We'll see you on Thursday, man. Later.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Don't drink and drive.